We have started with JSP now. JSP, what is JSP? JSP is a presentation technology. That's what you have to tell in the interview. Don't tell JSP is Java server page, that anybody will know. Okay, but anybody questions you what is JSP, you should tell it is a presentation technology. Now what is JDBC? Persistence technology. JDBC is a persistent technology. What is Scriptlets? Scriptlets is a web technology. Like that you have to clearly explain what is that word. Instead of that you keep on telling the full forms. What is Java, JDBC, Java database connectivity, what is JSP, Java server page. Nobody is interested in full form. Okay, so they know what is the full form. They are not trying to check whether you know the full form or not. So what exactly they are trying to check in the interview is how much do you know about that technology. Clear? So these are the technologies. So when you are developing a web application, you need the support of all these technologies. Only if you know or if you have a good control over these technologies, you can develop your application in a faster manner and easy manner. These technologies facilitate the application development and helps the developer in developing the application in a faster manner. So that is what is skill set. Okay, when you are getting appointed in a company, that's why the company looks into what are the different technologies you are knowing. So see, all these technologies will be used. I'm not saying no. Okay, see when the request is coming, this is how it will be actually used. The servlet will accept the web request, then it will forward it to the model. Okay, you'll be seeing this is controller. Okay, we'll be seeing all this very clearly. I'm not concentrating on MVC now, but I'm telling you the role played by every technology in an application. MVC will be covered later. Once I complete JSP, I'll be covering it. So this is how it will be. So here you'll be having the JSP. This will be the view. See, end of the day, when you write an application, these are all the technologies will be used, and you'll be using JDBC here. And it is this model which will be interacting with the database, correct? And it will interact, it will get some values, then these values will be given to the servlet, then the servlet will forward the request to the view, and finally it is the JSP which will be doing the response. Fact is, both, see, this servlet and JSP both can accept request, both can process request, both can give back response. They have the ability. Okay, so even though they have the ability, they are having their own positive side and negative side. Negative side of servlet is presentation, and negative side of JSP is writing Java code inside it is very big headache. Okay, so that's the reason they have their own strengths and weakness. So we actually try to understand, we study both, and then we'll see what is the best strength of the servlet, what is the best strengths. You should know the advantage and disadvantage. Then only you can say that you know the technology to the full strength. Once you know the technology to the full strength, then you'll know how to use that in development of your project. So this is how the things will be used later. So but right now what I'm focusing is, I'm just teaching you this now. I'm teaching you individually. First I taught you JDBC individually. Then I covered servlet individually. Now I'm teaching you JSP individually. So once we cover and learn them all individually, then when we put it into a project, you'll get the clear control of how to use them in the development of your project. So right now what I am teaching you is this one. See, your JSP is here. It can be hello.jsp or anything. Hello.jsp. Right now I am covering this individually. The JSP can accept request, process request, and give back the response. It has the ability, but finally you'll be seeing it will be used for only writing presentation logic. You'll be seeing it very clearly. Okay. The reason why we depend on JSP for doing presentation is because servlet is very difficult to do. In servlet, it's very difficult to do presentation. Clear? So this is where the JSP stands in MVC. And if you write a JSP now, JSP is also having a life cycle. It is also running in what? A container. So the life cycle of the JSP is controlled by the web container. It is also having its own life cycle methods. Which one? JSP init, JSP service, JSP destroy. These are the life cycle methods of the JSP. These methods come from the HTTP JSP page. HTTP JSP page is extending JSP page is extending servlet. These are all interfaces. So finally your class will be implementing that interface. So that's how it finally becomes a servlet. It is also having its own life cycle, and whenever the request is done for the first time to the JSP, what will happen? Conversion, that is translation. Some authors call it as translation phase, some authors call it as conversion phase. Conversion, then compilation, then instantiation, initialization, service, finalization, and destruction. These are the life cycle stages our JSP is going to follow. So this was what we covered in the previous class. You should have a very good grip onto this, and also we saw what? The implicit objects of the JSP. Means if you want to work with any of these objects, which one? request object, response object. Today I will be working with those objects. Directly you can use that variable name and work. Okay, means in JSP you got the direct reference to all the objects. 2 are coming extra. Which are the 2 extra objects? Page and page context. 6 we have already studied. Which are the 6 objects we already studied? Request, response, config, context, session and out. 6 objects we already covered in Servlet itself. 2 are extra, which will be covering in JSP. Done? So now here, yeah, this is how they have designed it. Okay. Now we'll work with those implicit objects also. Yesterday I worked with only the implicit object called as out. Today we'll see more about all this. So this was in the last class I gave you this basic introduction. Okay, now we'll start seeing more things about JSP. So again I'll continue to teach you JSP in this way. Later on I'll start using JSP in this particular manner. Clear? Because until and unless you don't know what JSP is, how will you use it in your project? It will not be possible. So first study it individually always. Then once you get the grip of it, you can start using it in applications or developing projects. See, one thing you understand here, in Java you got so many technologies like this. First, it will 2-3 days. This is the art of learning here. How you have to learn. This is the way you have to learn. First 2-3 days, you'll just understand what it is. Means, like example, JSP is a presentation technology. That's all you'll understand. And first 2-3 days. Then next 3-4 days, you'll start getting the grip onto the subject. Then the next 3-4 days, you'll start doing some R&D and full grip you'll get onto it. So all technologies, any technology you try to learn, minimum they require, okay, around 8 to 10 days to get the full grip onto it. But once you get the grip onto it, your application development becomes in a faster manner. Rapidly you can develop your applications. So one is you put effort for 10 days and learn it, and you can develop your application faster, or don't learn it and keep on struggling for your lifetime. So option is there for the developer. So obviously the developer prefers to learn what now? Technologies, and he sees to that his application development becomes fast. Libraries, this is also one more library what we are learning now. Clear? So with this introduction of the JSP, we'll move ahead now. And yesterday also I told you last class that if at all you want to write a HTML code, you use it within these tags, yes. And if you want to write Java code, you use these tags, yes or no? So HTML code will be written in which tag? Angular tags. Java code will be written in the same Angular tags only, but percentage will come. So this is where you'll be writing Java code. So that's how you can differentiate between HTML and Java code in your JSP. So you'll write your code now, and JSP is nothing but what? Writing Java in HTML file. So always you'll be writing a Java in HTML file. This is how you'll be writing. You'll start off with HTML and end with HTML, and in between this you will write what? Java code, or you'll be writing HTML code. Like this you'll be writing. We'll be seeing it more in detail today. So like this you'll be writing. So once you write this, okay, we'll be seeing more. I'm writing some syntax here. This is the syntax of what? Your JSP. And your file can be saved. It can have any name. The extension will be what now? .jsp. And this file should be stored into the public directory structure. You have to put it into the public directory structure of the public directory structure in the web app. It means when you are developing a web application, it should be in the public directory structure. So this is how it will be. And yeah, this is what I covered for you in the last class. So let's start seeing now more support. So JSPs are dynamic display. You'll start understanding very clearly now. And your plain HTMLs are, this is HTML now. So here this file will be saved as what? Hello.html. So there's a huge difference between HTML and a JSP. These are static displays. That is dynamic display. You'll understand it. So you'll be writing Java code inside HTML here. Clear? And one thing about JSP is, like see, in Servlet we write HTML in Java code. Don't forget that. You write HTML in Java code. Here you'll be writing Java in HTML file. But end of the day, both get converted to Servlet only. And again, the difference would be, in Servlet we write the Java code. In Servlet we write the Java code. Okay. But in JSP, Java code will be generated for the developer. Yes or no? When you write your JSP, the Java code will be generated. How it will be generated? Container generates the Java code for you. We'll write little like this and put it into the server, and the container will generate the Java code file. Clear? So this is the difference between servlet and JSP. More differences you'll start seeing. This is just the introduction. So now we'll start seeing how to write more Java code in the JSP. We'll start seeing how to write more Java code in the JSP. So if you want to write your JSP, there are 5 basic elements we say. There are the basic elements of the JSP we say. Okay. There are 5 main basic elements of the JSP. Clear? So when you're writing a JSP, okay, if you want to write, you can use these 5 things. So let's start seeing one by one what they are. Okay. So the first one is the scripting element, the next one is the directive, third one is the standard action, fourth one is EL. EL full form is expression language, JSTL is Java JSP standard tag library. Clear? So these are the 5 things you can use in your JSP. Okay. So today I'll be going with the first one. What is it? Scripting elements. Okay. So we'll be seeing what is scripting element. So see, again in scripting elements there are 3 things. Again in scripting elements there are 3 things. What are they? Very simple. There are 3 main scripting. There are 5 things, and among that we are going with the first one, the scripting element. There are 3 main. Again in scripting elements there are 3. One is scriptlets. Scriptlets will be used to write any valid Java statement like local variables or any other Java code. Anyway, see this. One is the scriptlet, second one is the expression, third one is the declaration. So I have written it here. Okay, means see, if you see in the JSP anything within this tag, it is called as scriptlet, which we saw in the last class. Okay, anything within this you write, if you see that's called as scriptlet. Yesterday I actually thought you had to write a scriptlet only. Then expression is something like this. It will be having the tag, no doubt. See, I have written it here, but just for more clarity I am writing it here. It will be just having one equal to sign, that's it. This is called as expression. And declaration also will be same. It will have that everything as it is normal, but it will have an interjection mark. So in the JSP, if you see this, it is called as what? Scriptlet. If you see this, it's called as an expression. If you see this, it's called as a declaration. Now what is the difference between all the 3? That's what we are going to study now. So first I'll tell you the concept, we'll see the definition, and then we'll see the output. Finally you'll get the clarity onto the subject. Very simple there. So say this. Whatever, okay, now the first one would be scriptlet. Scriptlets will be used to write any valid Java statements. If you want to write any Java statement, no, like if, else, do, while, anything, what are Java statements now. If you want to write anything, you can write it inside a scriptlet. Okay. So whatever you write, like addition, subtraction, anything you want to do, all those normal Java coding what you do, you can write it in a scriptlet. So that's the points here. Scriptlets will be used to write any valid Java statements like local variables. Means, I'll tell you what is that, or any other Java code. Means whatever you write inside a scriptlet is actually going inside what? The service method. Do not forget that. Whatever you write inside a scriptlet will go inside the service method. So that's why any variable you write, it becomes what? A local variable. Simple. Because it's going inside service method now. It's all about members of the class now. See, this will be your servlet, which is generated by the container. Hello underscore JSP, something like this. Leave the extents, whatever it is. But it will be having JSP, init method, yes, underscore JSP, service method, request comma response. Then you'll be having JSP destroy method. So you'll be having this 3 methods. So what you write in a scriptlet will go inside the service blindly. If yesterday I wrote what? Variables, 2 variables, A, B. So all of them are going inside what? Service. So obviously they are what now? Local variables. You know what are the members of the class now? The class is generated now. It is having 3 methods. Which are the 3 methods? Init, service and destroy. So if any variable goes inside the method, it's called as what? Local variable. Simple. Understood? So the scriptlets will be used for this purpose only. Clear? Okay. Then and you are using scriptlet to write what? Java statements, no? and all your statements should end with semicolon, yes or no? So that's why when you're writing a scriptlet, whenever you write, like example, I'll write, see this, int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20, int c is equal to 30, sorry, int c is equal to a plus b. So whatever you write here should end with a semicolon. Whereas they are plain Java statements. Clear? So that's how you write a scriptlet. And all the statements written inside a scriptlet will be placed inside the service method that you know now. And that's how it works. Clear? Fine. Let's see what is declaration. We'll come to this, then we'll go to expression. See, sometimes you'll want to declare instance variables. Yes or no? Or you want to declare other members of the class. So that time use declaration. Supposingly the same int a, see this is how I have written, but the same int a, if I write like this, inside a, you know what will happen? It will become an instance variable. That's it. The difference is only that much. So you know where will the a and b be now? Here. Int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20. If you use declaration. So declaration are used for declaring what you know? Members of the class. Class level members. So what you write inside a declaration will be outside the service method, but inside the class. That point you understand now. Outside the service method, fine. But inside the class. Inside the class means what? Obviously it will be members of the class, instance variable. So how good you are in Java, it is easy now in JSP now. Yeah? So it will be converted as instance variable. So it's up to you whether you want local variables or instance variables. So that's, you can use a scriptlet or you can use a declaration. Any of the two you can use. Clear? Sometimes you need. See, get the point very clearly. When you are writing a servlet, you are at your liberty. Liberty means what? You are writing the Java code. Whatever you want, you will write. Wherever you want, you will write. But here, the Java code is not written by us. Means that source code, it will be generated by whom now? Container. So you have to give the code to the container in such a way that, okay, see, we are telling, what the specification is telling is, if you write it like this is how the container will generate the code. If you write your code inside the scriptlet, it will be put inside the service method. If you put it inside the declaration, it will be putting it outside the service method inside the class. That's what they are telling now. So here what happens, since we are not writing the Java code, it will be generated by the container. So we have to learn this. Only if you know all this, then only you can generate what? Proper code now. Otherwise you will be expecting something, you start getting the output in a different way. So that will be the problem. Are you clear? So let's see this now. So now see one more thing. If you want some other method like m1, you can write it here, where supposingly the return type is int. Int z is equal to, supposingly int a is there, z is equal to a into a, it will multiply and return z, that's it. You can do it with what? Declaration. Again m1 will go out, what? Outside the service method. It will go outside the service method. So m1 will be here, where? Somewhere inside the class. Int a, int z is equal to a into a, return z. Getting it now? So like this, see, when you are writing a servlet, you can write extra method if you want now. Okay, but in JSP, how will you write a method? So if at all you want to write a method, what you do? Write it inside a declaration. Now that container, it will see all your source code. You have written this is your source code now. What it will do? After seeing your source code, it will generate the code like this. Understood? So the code is always generated by the container. Remember this. Clear? So in servlet, we write the Java code. But in JSP, we generate the Java code. Means with the help of container. In servlet, we write the Java code. But in JSP, we generate the Java code with the help of container. That's how it will happen. So fine. Now this is one very important interview question. Can I write a method using a scriptlet, they'll ask. Means if I remove this, what will happen now? These two, okay, it will go inside service. Now M1 where it will go? Inside service. Yes or no? So it will be there inside service now. Inside the service, what will you have now? M1. It will be like this. Now is this valid code? In Java, it is wrong to write what? A method inside a method. It is impossible to write a method inside method. So that is why you cannot write a method using what? Scriptlet. You cannot write a method using scriptlet because it will go inside the service method. Clear? So because in Java, in core Java only you see now, if I am having on hello class, if I am having on M1 method here, and if I am having M2 method here, fine. M1 can invoke M2, it's not a problem, it can call it, but it cannot define one more method called as M3 inside the same method. It is wrong. Same thing here. There we are writing, it will give error, but here that is how the code will be generated. Once the code is generated, what will happen? Compilation fails and your JSP will not execute because compilation is failing now. So .java will be converted, so JSP will be converted to .java. .java has to be converted now into .class, then instance, then initialization, then service. So it will fail, you will not get the output. So you should write your code in a proper way, otherwise your JSP will not execute only now. Getting the idea clearly now? Your JSP will not execute only. So that is the difference between a scriptlet and a declaration. Okay, so any variable you declare, so you can declare variables using what now? Scriptlet also, declaration also, no issue. But the difference is, this will become local variable, this will become instance variable. So variables can be declared using both. The difference will be local variable and instance variable. But you cannot define a method using scriptlet, and it is possible to declare a method using declaration, and it will go outside the service. And remember, this is what is that? Custom method what we are writing. Container will never call what? M1 method. It is your duty to call the M1 method. Where? In service method. So if at all you want to call it, what will you do now? In scriptlet, you will call it like this. This is your scriptlet now. In the scriptlet you have to call it like this here. And the return type is something now. What is that? Int p is equal to M1 of, I'll send a value like 5. Close the scriptlet. If at all you write a method, you have to call it. Now what will happen? This code will be going inside the service method, and in service method you are calling it. See, this is your service. It will call it. Same code. I'll just clear this. Same code. M1 is there now. What will happen now? Int p, you are getting it. Getting it? So this is how the code will be generated. I'll show you the code. Very clearly you'll start understanding now. Clear this? Okay. Now finally last is what? Percentage equal to. That is shortcut for out.println. If I'm having a variable, one option is you can print what? Out.println of I, something like this. Or directly you can say what? Percentage equal to I. That's it. It's a shortcut. Percentage equal to I, if you tell, it will give you the output. Nothing more in which one? Expression. It is used for expressing the value stored in a variable. It is used for expressing the value stored in a variable. Simple. So let's start seeing all this now. We have to understand this with an example only. See this points what I gave you. Scriptlets will be used to write any valid Java statements like local variables. Now you're getting the point? Then next, all the statements inside the scriptlet must be terminated with what? Semicolon. All the statements inside the scriptlet will be placed inside the service, and method declarations are not allowed inside a scriptlet. Expression is a shortcut of out.println. All the expressions inside the JSP will be placed inside the service. So both scriptlets and expressions will be placed automatically inside the service. I'll show you source code. Clear? We should not use semicolon at the end of expression. We should not use. I'll show you what happens. Now expressions cannot be used inside a servlet. You cannot use a expression cannot be used inside a scriptlet. Expression cannot be used inside a scriptlet. You cannot write a scriptlet like this. I show you all with coding only. And here means supposing I written int I is equal to 10. I can write like this. What is that? Percentage equal to I inside a scriptlet is error. I cannot do this. Okay, or int a if it is not visible. Okay, int a is equal to 10. This is invalid, but I can close the scriptlet and I can print like this. That means to say that you cannot use an expression inside a scriptlet. Okay. So then next, declarations are used to write class level members, that is instance variables and methods. Then Java statements are not allowed inside declarations. You cannot, can you write statements inside a class? No. Similarly, you can't write statements inside a declaration. Like a plus b, for loop, if else. Can you write inside a class? No. So Java statements are not allowed within a declaration. All the declarations inside the JSP will be placed directly inside the server class and outside the JSP service method. Inside the class but outside the service method. So with this in mind, we'll start seeing some examples. So now you'll get the full grip onto how to write JSPs. So this is the new syntax what you'll be seeing now. So 2-3 days it will take time for you to get adjusted, but after 2-3 days it will be very easy. You know how to write Java, but only we are learning to write it in a new syntax because it is JSP file. So I got some examples ready here for you. I think font we'll check is 11. Okay. See, this is an example for scriptlet. See this. Body BG color is equal to orange, normal. So whenever you want to write HTML, write it as this. Now see, I want to write Java code. So what did I do? I opened a scriptlet. I'm writing a for loop. See. So Java statements. This is a Java statement now. It can be written inside what? Scriptlet. First I'll give you simple examples. Individually I'll cover. Then we'll use everything in one example only. I'll use scriptlet, expression, declaration in only one example. You'll get the idea now. So first I'm teaching you separately. So what will it do now? Out.println. So out is a, which one? Implicit object. I'm using hello world. This is a scriptlet tag plus I, so and so. Fine, let's see this output now. So see, the name of the JSP is scriptlet.jsp. The project name is scripting elements. Project name is scripting elements. There are how many scripting elements? 3. So I got all the examples here itself. Which one? Scriptlet, declaration, expression. So yes, what is the name of the JSP now? JSP slash scriptlet, scriptlet.jsp. Press enter. See this. So any Java statement you can write. For loop, if else, do while, anything, any logic you want to write, you write. It will be inside what? Service method. If you want, you can find out the source file. Where is the source file? Apache Tomcat, you search star scriptlet now star dot star. Okay, so now you can see here it is here dot Java. I'll directly open edit plus, see this. This is what you're having. init method is there, destroy method is there, leave it. JSP service is there, we are focusing on this. And now you can see whatever you wrote, for what is that? For loop and all, it is there inside the service. And it is not mandatory you go and see always the source file. Okay, why I am showing you the source file is for you to get a good grip onto programming. This is the last, today will be the last day we'll be opening the source file. Okay, just I am showing you to get a control over the subject. What you write in scriptlet will go inside service. I have to prove it now. So see, just if I open that file and show you how much of confidence it is giving you. So only for that reason I am showing and opening it and showing it for you. You don't have to bother to open it and see every time. Clear? Fine, this is the thing now. So are you clear with this? So next, scriptlet is done. Clear how you write it? Fine. We'll see some more examples. The next example what I'll take is declaration if you want, or I'll take expression. I'll finish first. Expression. See, this is an expression. See, int I is equal to 0. Now what will happen now? It will become an instance variable. Obviously it will be outside what? Service. Last class I showed you int A and B, it was there inside service, but this will be a outside service now. And I'm incrementing it. So where this code, where it will go? Scriptlet. So every time I make the request, the service method gets executed now. So it goes on incrementing, and finally every time you make the request, it will be telling you this JSP has been accessed so many times. One counter I am keeping. Very simple example, but see this, I am using what? Expression now. Percentage equal to I. The same output I can get it using what? Out.println also. Yes or no? The same output I can get using out.println. But this is a shortcut for it. Instead of you using that big style, we can go for this shortcut also. In fact, this, when the container generates the code, no, container will generate that code for you. What? Out.println. It will only generate it. So instead of you writing, container will generate it. That's all. So for the developer, it is simple. So they are giving you easy syntaxes to write the JSP. That is their intention. They don't want to make for us what Java coding complicated there. So whenever you want to print something, they are telling you use the expression like this. So this also I will show you the source code. Just see now. Are you clear? So you have to focus these two things now. One is what? This. The second one would be, means it will become what? Out.println. And this will become what? It will go into service method, and this will be outside service. So focus all these three things. We'll run the program. Means, so you have deployed it, you can directly make the request now. Expression.jsp is the name. This JSP has been accessed one time. So first it will be declared 0. Now service executes, increments and prints. See now, I'll just copy this URL. I'll come outside now. I'll start making requests. This JSP has been accessed 2 times. Close. Open. One more new browser. Means one more client. This JSP has been accessed 3 times. It goes on incrementing. Means that clearly shows that service goes on executing every time. Okay. Now Chrome browser. Any browser you open. That's secondary now. But they are considered as clients. This JSP has been accessed 4 times. If you want the source code, we'll see now. Yes, again where will you go? Here you go and type what? A declaration. Expression, no? Yeah. EXPRE. Says, yeah, here it is. .java file, correct? So select edit plus. Yeah, carefully notice now. Where is int I? Outside service, most importantly, but inside the class. So it has become an instance variable. So that's why we say declarations are used for making what? Declaring members of the class. You can declare static variable also. Okay, and instance variables. Anything means members of your class. Any member you want, you can declare it. In Scriptlets now you are free. You can write anything now. When you are writing a Scriptlet, you can write any variable, any method. But here we can't write it because the code has to be generated. So to generate the code, we'll use all this support. So int I. So now come down. Yes, in init service is there. Fine. Now we are seeing which one? I++. So where is I++? Inside service here. This is your service method. Inside the service you are finding I++ code. Done. And one more, no? Yeah. Percentage equal to I has been converted to what? Out.println of I. It is implicitly getting converted. Shortcut. Instead of you writing big statements like out.println, you use a percentage equal to I. See this code I am showing you. See this. This one are you seeing? Well, how did I write that actually? Here. Percentage equal to, sorry, here. Percentage equal to I. Getting it? So this is how you are writing, but actually it is getting generated like that. So your wish. Out.println also you can use, or percentage equal to I also you can use. Done? Fine. And where is the source code? Yeah, I think 3 things had to be noticed. One is the instance variable. The other one is I++, which is going inside the service method. And the third thing is percentage equal to I is getting converted to out.println. Shortcut it is. Now one more thing what you have to understand is, here in an expression you should not use semicolon. It will give you error. Why no? Why it's an error? Because percentage equal to I, if you write, by default it will be converted to what you know, by the container. Understand very clearly here. Percentage equal to I, if you write the code like this, it will be converting to what? out dot println of I, means it will be sent as an argument. Whatever value you are writing here, it will be sent as an argument to out dot println, whatever you write there. If I write on semicolon here, this semicolon will come here. It will be taken as an argument and put here. And this is wrong Java syntax now. So just I explained you why you can't use semicolon with expression. Understood? But for scriptlet you have to use semicolon because they are statements. Every statement should end with what? Semicolon. Very clear it is. Yeah? So it's nothing but explaining you again what? Java syntax. So that is why never use semicolon with expressions. And the beauty of Eclipse is it only reports the error. If you use it also, it will not allow you to deploy only. Means it will start giving you the error. So it can detect. Yeah? Done. So don't use a semicolon in expression. So this is done. Lastly we have to see what, and you know how the execution is happening now. Every time you make a request, what happens? Service is going on executing. So that's why every time you make the request, it increments. You know the rule. Your JSP is following what model? Multi-thread model. Remember that. Okay. All the requests will be using the same instance of the servlet. Every time a request goes, a thread will come outside the pool. One new request response object will be created and it goes on to execute the same instance. So your JSP is following what? Multi-thread model. There are two models now, single thread model, multi-thread model. JSP is actually following what now? Multi-thread model. Same thing, which one? I have shown you the diagram. See this, do not forget this. This will be the instance. Every time a request comes, one thread will come outside the pool, executes, goes back to the pool. That's all. Same story of servlet. Clear? This is servlet I showed you, but this is the same way JSP is working. So that is why the service goes on executing every time it is incrementing. Fine. And then lastly we have to see what? Declaration. Yes. I am showing you declaring what? Two things here. One is what? Instance variable. The other one is what? Method. A method by name what? Say hello. Return type of that is what? String. So you are declaring a method. Clear? So these two will go outside service now. If it goes outside service, it is your duty to use them. So you are declaring actually members of the class. I am showing you both now. So in this example, I am showing you how to write a variable also. Previous example also I showed you. But in previous example I was concentrating more on what? Expression. I used declaration here, but my concentration more was on expression. But here my concentration is more on declaration. So you see this. Declaring all this is HTML now, that is okay. Now this declaration you can write it on the top like this. That's the convention we follow. Okay. Or some people will write like this also, where inside the body part also you can write like this. This is also valid. Okay. But container will read all this code and generate the code properly for you. You write the code in whatever way you want. But it knows how to generate the code. But the best convention what we follow is always writing declarations on the top of the file. Outside HTML we write. That's the convention. If you want you can write it in the body part also. No issue. So fine. Saying declaration. Now see this. Saying hello to all readers. Now percentage equal to say hello. So I am calling the method. And I am sending an argument of type what? Cluster. So it will be invoked. And it will return what? Hello cluster. The return type is string no. So saying hello to all reader. What it will tell? Hello cluster it will print. That's it. And we are directly out.println of that method is what? If you want to write it in a single line like this, or okay, that one you can print, or you can also print I. What is this? Value of I is percentage equal to I. The same to output you can print it in what way you know? See this I will write. In scriptlet also I can do it. String yes is equal to say hello of cluster, then what will you say? Out dot println of s. That also I can write. Or instead shortcut you can write percentage equal to say hello. The return type of that method is string. Out dot println of string, it will print it. Similarly, I can print in I. See this. Out dot println of I. So this way also you could have written the code in a scriptlet. But I am focusing to show you how to use expression. So learn this new syntax of coding. You have to learn it. Clear? Shall I clear this now? So this way also you can write. So say hello. Now see, let's make the request now. The argument to this string would be cluster, what we are passing. See this now. So we have to make the request. What is the name? Declaration, na? The JSP name. DECLARATION. Declaration dot JSP. Value of I is 100. And saying hello to all reader. Hello cluster. This is the return value from that method. Done? So like this you can write. So these are basic examples. More examples you write, more code you write, automatically you'll start understanding more clearly. It's all about coding extra. With one example you'll understand only little things. More you code, more clearly you'll start understanding all the things. If you want the source code, yes, we can see this also. You go there. What is it? Declaration, correct? Huh? Declaration.java, yes, edit plus, see this. Yeah, first one, int I is equal to 100. Your method is declared outside. See how much confidence it gives you now. Just if you see the source code. Otherwise it would be like one vague idea. But now it becomes very clear. JSP I need, JSP destroy, okay, service. Inside service, you are invoking say hello, yes or no? And you are also saying percentage equal to I. That also got converted to what? Out dot print. Same. So this is how you can write all the code. So then next. Yeah, now say this. You understand how we write code. Simple. I have written on simple example yet using all the three. Int a is equal to 3, int b is equal to 3, int sum is equal to 0. Yes. Just one simple example I am giving now. So all these are what now? Instance variables. They will be declared outside the class. Then body bg color. See now when I am doing print now, means I can do print in two ways. One is HTML output I can use, or I can use Java output also. So in a JSP I got two output. One is an HTML output, other one is a Java output. See these are all HTML output. Now see the Java output. Sum is equal to a plus b. Out dot print. This is from the scriptlet tag. That is fine. That is what? Java output now. Now see, if sum is equal to 6, I opened the scriptlet here. See, this is all Java code now. So that's why I opened the scriptlet. Now what we do, I want to write HTML code. So what I'll do? I'll close the scriptlet. So see how we write. If sum is equal to 6, understood? Open the brace. Now I could have continued writing. Out dot print and hello, how are you now? I can write now. I'll not write the scriptlet. Sorry, I'll continue writing. I'll not write HTML. What I'll do? This output I can get it using HTML. Which one? Sorry, Java also. Highlighted it. Out dot println of hello, how are you? Plus sum plus condition true. I can do it in out dot println. But what did I do? I didn't want to use Java output. So for output, we depend more on HTML now. And when you are writing a JSP, for output we depend more on HTML now. See this. If sum is equal to 6, I start depending on HTML output now. Because why? We can use header, H1, H2, all that. It will be very easy to format now. Understood? Hello, how are you? Now, I just want to print the value of sum. So what will I do? Expression. Percentage equal to sum and condition true. Yes, the value of A and B is 6 only. So obviously the if condition will print. Okay. The same output how you could have printed? See this. If you are not close this. I show you. I'll type it only and show. The other way you would have written it would have been written like this. Out dot println of what? Hello, how are you plus sum plus condition true. See, both options are there for you. One is you can use the Java output or you can use the HTML output. Your wish. Both will work. Clear? So anyway, I'll do it. I'll write this also and we'll do this also. If you want, you can see 2 times it will print. Clear? But we depend more on HTML output in JSP. So that's how you use expressions, HTML and all that. Fine. Now see, if has been opened here. If block has been opened, has it been closed? You have to close it now. So that's why I will continue now. I'll open what? Scriptlet. You have to close it. If you don't close it now, error. It is wrong Java now. So here that syntax, getting adjusted to the syntax will be a bit challenging now. But once you get adjusted, you will know how to code it. So if sum is equal to 6, fine, all this is okay, it will do all this, sir. Okay. But again I have to close that if block. I'll close. Then I want to write something else. Else. If it is not equal to 6, see how I write? Else. Again I can use Java output or HTML output. Both I can use. So see, when I want to write Java output, I'll use out.println. But if I want to write HTML output, I'll close the scriptlet. Whenever you want to write HTML code, close the scriptlet. Okay. Then next what will you do? This is from else loop. HTML code. Yes. Now see, this is very interesting. Else block is still not closed now. So just I am writing on scriptlet only to close what? That else block. So this is how you go on writing. Yeah, get the grip onto this subject. Clear? So this is how you write. See this, very clearly I show. I want to write Java code, here I am using declaration. Okay, so when you see on JSP now, you should know now what is what. So this is declaration. Now this is scriptlet. This is again scriptlet. This is expression. Right, you have to understand. Clear? Yes. Now here I have written declaration. I want to write Java code, I wrote. But I want to write HTML code, immediately I close the scriptlet. You cannot write HTML code inside the scriptlet like this. Okay, so like this you go on writing, and again if I want to write HTML code I am writing, I wanted to print a value here, so I could have told out.println of sum, but to write out.println you have to open again scriptlet. So that's why I blindly used what? Expression. And then this one, again HTML is over, now Java code, I'll open the scriptlet. After writing Java code, I'll write HTML again. Then again I'm closing this else block. Then end of JSP page. So just get the grip. Okay. So once you get the grip, it will be very easy to code now. So we can run the code now. Run on server. See, this is from scriptlet tag. Sum how are you 6 true. So this is the 2 output you are seeing. This is from means hello how are you 6 condition true. 2 times you are printing now. This is from the out.println. This is from the scriptlet tag 6. This is from the scriptlet tag sum 6. Then next hello how are you plus sum. Same output you are seeing. Hello how are you, sum is 6, condition true. Then again next hello how are you, condition true. This output also you have to see. Hello how are you 6, condition true. Else block does not execute because sum of a plus b is 6. So else block is not executed. End of JSP page. One simple to get a grip, I am showing you this example. How you use all the things. So I have covered almost all the things in one single file now. Which one? Declaration, expression, scriptlet. Just to only get the grip. And again if you want, you can see the source code also. WELCOM. Yes. Here you have got A, B somewhere. Instance variables. I need destroy leave service. Yeah, hello, whatever you have written, sum is equal to a plus b, if sum is equal to a, 6, else, if else block. You mixed both HTML and Java, but finally it has got all converted to what? Java like this, and it will generate the Java code and it will print it for you. Clear? So this is how you write it. So this is how you go on learning JSPs now. Only the syntax is new here. Okay, so we covered scripting elements now. Yes, we covered. There are 5 things you can use in a JSP. Today we learned only one. Which one? Scripting elements. In scripting elements, you are having 3 things. Which are there? Scriptlets, expressions, declarations. That's what you learned. Clear? And now if you have got the grip onto this much subject, now we'll see a very interesting example. Okay, we'll use this feature and write some logic also now. I told you JSP also can accept request, process request and give back response. Let's see. This we'll see now. Let's take a simple example. See this. The user makes a request and you're going to display him the same thing which you did it in Servlet. You have done this program in Servlet, but that same program you'll see it with JSP now. So when the user makes the request, you'll ask the user to enter name and you'll ask him to enter what? Password. And he'll submit. See, if he's entering, we'll hard code today. Database connection and all, next class we'll do. Definitely that also I'll teach you. Okay. So if I enter Ravi and Amok and submit it, it should tell me what? Welcome or not welcome. This is the output what I want now. Yeah? So I need obviously 2 files. One which will give me the response as saying enter name, enter password. The other one which will accept the values and give back the response telling welcome or not welcome. So 2 files. So forget time being about servlets now. So I can use HTML and JSP for writing this code. So for the first one, I can use a JSP. Yes or no? I can use a JSP. Okay, means what? Enter name, enter password. But that's a static display. So when you want to write static displays, better you go for what? HTML. See how many concepts you're learning here. So something like, I'll have the file name like login.html. I can also write login.jsp now. Don't want, because it is static display. But now see, very interesting. If the request comes, so now I have to check the name and password and say welcome or not welcome. So I'll not write Java file. I'll use JSP. So what was I telling you till now? A JSP also can accept request, process request and give back response. Yes or no? So since you have got some grip onto JSP now we can write this logic. Let us say this name of the JSP would be check user.jsp. Any name you want to give. Check user.jsp. You can write the logic here. So for writing this logic, what you will use? What I taught you now. Which one? Scriptlets, expressions, all that you can use and do your logic. But I'll give the idea. Now see this. To write this JSP now, I'll use scriptlet. So first I have to get the value now. The name of this box might be NME. The name of this input box might be PWD. So I want the value. Yes, so see how I write check user.jsp now. HTML will start. Body, okay, fine. Then next. Yeah, you have to start writing your code now, Java code. How will you write? Start writing scriptlet. This is very interesting. Sorry, I need space. HTML, body, yes, now see this. Scriptlet I'll use string s1 is or strname. Strname is equal to what will you write? Is equal to req.get parameter. Now you have to use implicit objects. Yes or no? Which implicit objects? There are 8 implicit objects. So I'll use the request implicit object. Correct? See how we start using request. Only you have to use dot get parameter only means this method now of name. Same way string str PWD is equal to request dot get parameter of PWD. Now Java code, you continue. If strname dot equals of Ravi, you know how to write the Java code now, and str password dot equals of Amog. In select you have to do out dot println HTML, out dot println pw dot prin HTML, pw dot body, pw dot welcome. Big story out, right? Now see how easy it will be. So this is the way you use the implicit objects and expressions. Everything what you have covered. Done? So let's see this code now. So two files will be there, one HTML and JSP. So this is static display. Understanding? This one will be dynamic. It depends on the value what you give. Whatever it will be displaying now, it will be depending on the value what you give. So next class I will be connecting to database. So better you code this now itself. So JSP is also as powerful as what? Servlet. Yes, it can do everything. See this is the third example what you are seeing. The HTML is this. You know the HTML, very simple it is. But only thing is, the interesting part is the form action now. What is the value you will give? So you have to give the JSP name. JSP slash check user.jsp. Why I am giving dot slash? Navigation. Because you are in HTML folder. From HTML folder it has to go to what? Dot slash means it will go to the application. From application it will enter what now? JSP. Understood? So it will go to JSP now. You know application, how it will go? See this. My app or whatever the name of the application. You are in HTML now. The first request will be in HTML. And now you want to navigate to what? JSP. Dot slash will take it to the root. From there it will come to JSP. That's what dot slash. Which JSP you want to go? Check user.jsp. So that's how it will be done. Method is equal to whatever. In JSP you don't bother because let it be get or post, it will execute, because by default it is overriding service method, luckily for us. So that is the reason they are overriding service. Let the request be get or post, you don't have to worry. But just I am showing you, see I am sending get, but still that method is getting executed. Which one? JSP. Yeah? Anyway, default is what? Anyway, get only. And now JSP now. This you should be comfortable. Start understanding now. I want to write HTML code, fine. I want to write Java code, fine. Now this is HTML code again. Font size, color green, hello mister, you are welcome, whatever. See how I mix and match. You are good in Java also, you are good in HTML also. So you understand both. Yes? Code. That's it. Little, yeah, that's it. Hardly anything is there that side. If you want, I'll format it. It will become bigger. Okay. Clear now? You're following now what it is? Fine. So only what you have to do now, make the request. So see this. Right click and I'm checking with what? Sorry. The username and password I'm checking is Ravi and Amog. I hard coded. Next class it will be database connection. So plenty of concepts are there, learn it. So what is the name? Ravi and Amog. Welcome. If I enter correctly. And if I give something like this, not welcome, valid user. Done? So you can do this. If you want you can go and check the source file, but no need. Why do you want to check now? You know how to control your JSP now. Yeah? So yes, I think now by the end of the class you are getting the grip. In Solid we write the Java code, but in JSP we generate the Java code with the help of container. Container generates it for us. Yeah? Yes. Now coming to this implicit objects, see this. Plenty of concepts are there. Request. If I try to use REQ, error. Done? So you have to use request. Means, what the implicit object means, see in Scriptlets, we give our own variable names and we get the reference explicitly. Like if I want to work with out object in Scriptlets, what will you do? Print writer out or PW or whatever you want, you give the variable name is equal to response dot get writer. You write the code like that. But here what happens? Out is ready. You have to use the same name. If you use some other variable name, what will happen? The JSP will get converted to .java and PW will be unknown variable in your source file. When the source file is generated, PW will be unknown variable name. So compilation error will get that time. So that's why Eclipse only will report error. If you say where I'm using here out.println anywhere, I'm not using it. Anywhere if you use. Last class I showed you. Okay, see this, I'll show you in the previous example. PW. Give me error. Because if it gets converted to .java, what will be PW in your source file? It's completely unknown variable. So in Scriptlets, what we do, we declare our own variables and we get the references. Okay. See, in Scriptlets, this point you be very clear now. This is a very important interview question. What are the implicit objects of servlet? Servlet is also having some implicit objects. Which are they? Request, response and config. 3 objects you get the reference implicitly. In Scriptlets technology. Scriptlets. Request, response and config. Other objects, which one? Out, print writer or session or context. You have to get the reference explicitly. So 3 objects implicit, 3 objects explicit. But in a JSP, you get the references, all the references implicitly. That's the beauty of it. Means you don't have to write extra code for what? Getting the reference to those objects and working with that. Now otherwise it would have been, writing a JSP would have been very difficult here. Request.get parameter. Directly I'm calling no. Otherwise imagine getting reference to that object, then calling what? Get parameter and all that. Yeah? So directly they'll give you the reference. So if you just use that variable name and your source code will get converted to what? JSP code will get converted to .java. See, I'll show you. Automatically it will be referring to that request object. Done? So last time you see the source code now. Star search user na? Check user or check user? What is the name of a JSP? Check user. Check. Once again. User dot. Sorry. Star dot star. Anyway, it's coming here. Yeah, this is the source code. I'll open up now. Right click, edit plus. Yeah, JSP service, all that okay. See this. These are the variables. Session. Okay. Page context, application, config, out, page. Again I'm showing you. These are the 6, 7 and 8 will be where? Here. Request and response. This one and this one. Done? So these are the 8 implicit objects of the JSP. All these objects will get implicitly. These two we have to learn new. We'll leave it. We'll learn it. Page and page context you have to learn. We already studied 6 in Scriptlets. So there are 8 implicit objects in the JSP, but 3 in Scriptlets. So that's how even I think that source code, if you want, you can see full. See, I'm telling request dot get parameter. So what is request now? It's a variable of type what? If you use REQ, what will happen? Unknown variable, no. Code will get generated. Conversion might happen. Eclipse is not allowing you. But if you use other editors, Notepad, Edit Plus, it will allow you to deploy. Here Eclipse is giving you the error. Edit Plus, which one? Notepad and all will not report errors. That time you will get error during runtime. When you make the request to JSP now, that time you will get errors. Yeah. So that is the beauty of Eclipse. You are lucky. That's what I can say. So this is what is happening. So that's the reason you have to use the same variable names. They are predefined. That's why it becomes a very important interview question. You can understand why it's so important. Because if at all you in Servlet and JSP there is nothing but these objects only. And if you don't know how to work with these objects, there is no question of writing what? Any logic. So that is why it becomes the most front runner interview question. First question they means almost all in all your interviews on JSP, this will be a interview question. Done? Fine. Now we'll go and we got the grip on how to write your Servlet in JSP. Sorry, JSP's HTML, when to write HTML, when to write JSP. Now we'll see the life cycle, how to write init method and destroy method. Very simple. In this I will be only showing you the SOPs, nothing more. This on JSP here I got. Very simple example. Lifecycle.jsp, the fourth example what I am opening. Hardly anything is there. Okay. So if you want to write any logic in init, you can write init method. If you want, you can write it in destroy method also. Okay. That will be seeing it. And now see this very clearly. If you want to write init method, you have to use a declaration. See now. Why? If you don't use declaration, it will go inside service. Okay. So you can override now. You are trying to override now. Yes. And again, if you want, you can write destroy method also, but using declaration. But you can never override service method. Service method is implicitly generated for the developer. In a JSP, service method is implicitly generated. Don't ever try to override which one? JSP service method. It is wrong. Clear? So only these two you can write if you want. Which one? Init and destroy. And if you want to write anything in service method, use scriptlet. That will go inside service. You can't write service method explicitly. If you want, you can put the code inside the generated service method by using a scriptlet. Okay? So this is how you write it. Now carefully see SOP, where it will print? Console. Same way, this will also print to server console. So, and here also I am printing SOP and out.println. So this will print, where it will print? To the console. So just observe the flow. Init will execute only once. Destroy will execute only once. But service will execute n number of times you make the request. That is the concept here. Clear? Now let's make the request. I show you this output. See, preferably start deleting all your projects, old projects. Otherwise you will start getting errors. Clear? And that time it's better you stop and delete it. Keep only one project which you are working, always recommended. Because so many times the file names will be same in the previous project, this project, problems will be there. Clear? Yes. JSP / live. See our console now. Here this console you see, I'll be making the request. This is the console. Live cycle.jsp. See init service. I'll go on making multiple requests. This is one more request, or from the browser outside you make. Open browser and make it, or make it here only. Just make the request. Clear? Enter, you go on doing. See there. So every time you make the request, it's executing the service. Clearly following multi-thread model. Init only once. Very clear it is. Destroy I can't show you. You try to redeploy somewhere, you'll see the destroy method. So destroy method will be executed during the destruction of the instance. JSP instance means Servlet instance. This is the life cycle. So this is the concept. Now how you use this support in programming, that is next thing what you have to study. Supposing you want to connect to database connection and do it now. The database connection will get it in init method. You'll use it in scriptlet and you'll release it in distro. That I'll be showing you very clearly. Clear? So we'll see that. So that's why I have just introduced what? Life cycle of the JSP. So this is done. And here one thing, very interesting thing. In init method I am saying system.out.println. But never try to say, most of you will do it, out.println. Why? Can you guess? Huh? If I write there anything out.println, I'll get an error. Why? Out is a local variable to service method. When it is local variable to service method, how can you use it in init? Which one? Sorry. Yeah, out is a local variable to service method. Out is a local variable to, it is being declared locally. I showed you the source code. Now see there, out is declared inside service. Now how can you use a variable declared in service in init? That is Java now. This is pure Java. A variable declared in M1, how can you use it in M2? Yeah. So how good you are in Java, programming becomes easier. Scope of the variable, nothing else. So don't try to use it. So that's why I'm using system.out.println. And one more thing, nobody will do out.println in init method. Yes or no? Out.println in init means what? It will print only to the first client now. So never use out.println in init and destroy method or pw.println. Clear? So always use it in service method, pw.println, because you are doing the output to client. What you write in service is executed for all the clients. What you write in init and destroy will be executed only first time when the first client makes the request. So you should know how to write your logics. Clear? So this is a good grip now what you are getting onto JSP. Yeah, we have answered most of your questions which you would have got. Some more remain. Yes, they will be answered. But one question I will put to you now. So why no mapping for JSPs? Why don't you do any mapping for a JSP? Why do you do a mapping for servlet? Common sense, man. This is not rocket science. See, basically you have to understand why you do mapping. Because we map the URL with the class. In servlets we do mapping, no? Why do you do mapping? We map URL with the class. If that is the URL, execute this class. Some URL you'll be having. Example, if the URL is something like in servlet, what was the first example we saw? URL? Slash hello was executing what? First servlet. So the name of the servlet was first. You know now how the mapping works? Servlet name, servlet class. So this is the URL and it has to execute first servlet. So there you are writing the class. Yes or no? You write the class and you do the mapping. If this is this one, URL, execute this. But here the class is generated by whom now? Container. So it knows very well. If I make the request for hello.jsp, who has generated this one now? Class hello_JSP. This is a class. Who has generated now? Container. So if hello.jsp is the URL, it knows very well which class to execute because it has only generated. Yes or no? So because it is generating. So if you type that URL, it will only execute that class. But in servlet, that's not the case. We are writing the class and we have to tell the container, if this is the URL, execute this particular class. So that's why we don't do any mapping for JSP. The container knows for that particular URL, means for hello.jsp, execute class hello_JSP. For hi.jsp, execute class hi_JSP. Whatever the class name it has generated, it knows it. Welcome.jsp, it will execute welcome_JSP. It knows very well. So that is the reason we don't do mapping for JSP. Done? Now why no mapping for HTML? HTML does not contain any important code only. What is there in HTML when you make the request will be displayed here. Source only. View source, you can see the full code. So there is nothing to hide. So in HTML it is open. Whatever you write, see in HTML, whenever I make a request to an HTML file, the full content of the HTML file is there in the client side. You say view source here, right click view source. What code is there in HTML? It will be senior. Yes, but for JSP and Java we hide because they contain Java code. So that's why we do the, means for Servlet we do mappings explicitly. For JSP's mappings happen implicitly. For HTML no need of any mapping. Yeah, so this is how the subject stands. Clearly I have given you the idea. Why no mapping for this, why no mapping for this, and all that. I think that would have been one of your question. Why no mapping for JSP? Okay, so with this we will complete today's class. Next class we will be going with directive and all that. The other basic elements we can start seeing. So practice this much. Next class we'll see more things. That's it.